I can't even begin to describe how excited I am for autumn to finally be here. I can't remember the last time I've been this excited about autumn, winter starting. The last few years I would say that spring and summer probably have been my more favourite seasons, but I am so excited to get cozy and comfy and to literally just hibernate in my house to knit and crochet for the next 5-6 months. As always with every single season, I thought I would share all the things that I have planned to make this autumn, some of my own patterns that I'm hoping to work on, some other projects that I'm hoping to make myself, and yeah, just kind of share some of the inspo that I've been having for this season. Throughout this year, I've kept a very organized plan of the projects that I want to work on, the patterns that I'm hoping to design and release each season, and this autumn is no different. My organization is ever evolving, and a tool that has been incredibly helpful for this has been Milanote, which I'm very happy to announce is sponsoring this video. Milanote is a great tool to help you organize your creative projects and to help you plan, brainstorm and collaborate on your ideas. So this is my autumn 2025 projects board, which keeps all of my project ideas, mood boards, to-do list and deadlines. Milanote offers lots of different tools and elements which all help me to organize everything in detail. On the left here, I keep my pattern plans with the name and deadline of the pattern that I'm hoping to release. This just helps me keep an overview of the things that I definitely want to achieve this season. I didn't necessarily want to keep this as a to-do list, more just as like a reminder. However, I can still cross out the text if I have completed something, which is very satisfying to do. I then keep the months in different columns to categorize which projects I want to make and when. As someone who gets overwhelmed very quickly, having this laid out in a very simple and straightforward way is very, very helpful. I've also adapted subboards for each month, which I use to brainstorm for other projects I like to work on, irrelevant of my pattern releases. Here I just throw in pictures or links whenever I see them, so I have a great bank of ideas for when I have some spare time and I'm looking to start a new project. The web clipper tool in particular is great for this because it just lets you add references to your boards directly without having to like copy and paste or screenshot anything. Within my boards, I like adding some notes to clarify the ideas that I'm having, because without this, I sometimes forget why I like the look of a project. The arrows also are just another really helpful visual aid, and I like that you can change the color of the arrow to make everything a bit more visually pleasing. One of my favorite features has to be the color swatch. For this board, I've added some color combos that I've been obsessed with recently. I would kind of like to draw back on throughout the season when I'm choosing yarn colors. I also link to my fashion Pinterest board, so I can always draw back to my outfit inspo and kind of how my projects best fit into that. Overall, Milanote makes starting a new project super easy with over 100 built-in templates available for every type of creative person. For example, I like to use the craft project mood board template to visualize project ideas that I have, which kind of helps me later on actually bring them to life. Milanote also has a mobile app, so all the boards that I've made sync up on my phone as well, which is super handy because most of the time I am on my phone, so I can just refer back to my deadlines, my ideas, and everything is literally in one place. Milanote is just perfect for any creative professionals, whether you're a fiber artist, filmmaker, a writer or a content creator. It is literally designed to help you organize your work. Finally, the absolute best thing about Milanote is that it is available for free with no time limit. So sign up for your free Milanote account with the link in my description and start mood boarding for autumn. Now with that, you've already had a little bit of a sneak peek into my autumn 2025 project plans. However, let's actually get into a bit more detail for those. I used to really make these dependent on trends. I have genuinely never been less interested in trends than this season. This autumn and winter, I feel like I just know what I like. I'm so not interested in seeing what other people are doing, to be honest. So I hope this is still interesting because I feel like I'm very much in my own little world and a lot of the things are very specific to me. But yeah, hopefully it can still somewhat inspire you. The first thing that I'll be working on as of the end of September is some mittens. I wrote a pattern a couple years ago now, I think, as part of a series I did here on YouTube on like quick and easy projects you can make as gifts for people, and the mittens were like one of my favorite things that came out of that. I wore them non-stop last winter, so now that I have written a couple more patterns, I want to go back and revisit that, rewrite it, and for that I need to make a couple more samples, and also I just really want some more mittens because yeah, like I said, the ones that I already have I wear all the time, so I think it would be really fun to have them in different colors as well. Now that pattern obviously isn't out yet, so a few other mittens that I have been very inspired by are majority stripe because I'm obsessed with stripe and I love adding a little bit of pattern, a bit of texture, especially in winter when the majority of things that I wear are quite bland, a lot of brown and beige and grey. So I feel like by integrating some fun stripe projects, it just like makes the outfits a bit more interesting. Two of the mittens that I really like are from this pattern designer. They have a crochet mittens pattern, which is very adorable. I like how the thumb is a different colour. I think that's really cute. And then they have another crochet mittens pattern, which is more of like a chunkier fit, I want to say, which I also really like. So these are really great crochet options. The ones that I will be working on are knit. So if you're a crocheter, these are really good alternatives. Or also for me, if I feel more like crocheting, then I definitely follow one of these patterns for sure. Some knitted mittens that I am so obsessed with are the Rose static mittens. These are just amazing. I mean, anything that Rose knitwear does is just incredible. The stitch variety of all of their patterns is insane. But yeah, these mittens are really cute. Also, speaking of Rose, this is completely irrelevant of anything autumnal, I guess, but the Axis bag that they've released recently genuinely blew me away. It is so cool. I especially love the bag in this like brown white sort of color scheme. I would love to make one of those. This is just one of those patterns that I know I will never like take the time to do, but it's definitely on my list to pick up as and when I feel like picking up a random project. Another one of my designs that I'm hoping to rework this autumn is my bonnet pattern. This is a very simple, straightforward bonnet design that I definitely think could do with like some revisiting, some redoing. It is really cute, and because I've already written it, I just kind of feel like I should just like rewrite it a little bit, put it back onto my website, and that will kind of help me like bulk up my pattern library a little bit. The ones that I made back when I first wrote the pattern are very colourful. I think I would be interested in the next samples being more of like a neutral colour palette because I'm more likely to wear that. So like a brown, a beige, a white, even like a stripe again, but just on a more low-key colour scheme. Again, some other bonnets that I've really been loving is first of all the Harriet bonnet by Milena Paulina. This is kind of the colour scheme I'm talking about, like a subtle stripe, a good strong brown. I can totally see myself wearing this. Also the Bala bonnet, just a classic bonnet pattern, really. I love how fluffy this is. I love how thick it is. It kind of mimics the like hood feeling of a jacket or like a hoodie perfectly, which I really like in my bonnet rather than it being like super tight around my face. This is kind of making me think like there doesn't need to be another bonnet pattern out there, but I'm simply doing it because I already have the foundations of my pattern there. So I'm hoping to re-release that this autumn as well. And since I've been kind of like writing and designing knitwear stuff full time, I have noticed that I don't really take the time to like follow other people's patterns or just do something for my own enjoyment, because any project that I pick up, I will always write down the instructions because people will always ask about everything that I make and I don't want to be gatekeeping. And there's just generally always the thing of what if I want to make this thing again that I'm freehanding. So my plan for autumn and winter also is to take some more time, especially in the evenings, because I don't want to be working on my laptops in the evenings, to just do things for fun. Not that my own patterns aren't fun to make, but it just requires a lot more concentration and it's just a lot more like work related. So one of the things that I would love to do this autumn for myself, not to do with anything with pattern releases, is a sort of halfway bonnet, like a bonnet that just covers your ears rather than your whole forehead and back of the head, if that makes sense. The one pattern that really made me think I need this is the early spring bonnet. I love the fluffiness of it, the thickness of it. I love the shape. Just especially for autumn seems like the perfect make because it doesn't keep you super warm, whereas a bonnet or like a balaclava would keep you quite warm and it's probably more suitable for the winter. I also really like the Ellie bonnet. It's very similar to that as well. It just has more of like a thinner tie under the chin cardigan. And also the brat bonnet is very cool, just as another pattern example. I have some good options here that I could consider, but I definitely think early spring bonnet is going to be a pattern that I'll be purchasing and making soon. I think this is now maybe the second, if not even the third year that I have told myself that I'm going to write a pattern for this cardigan that I made a long time ago now. And I've spoken about it before. It's been really hard for me to recreate this cardigan because I made this right at the start when I learned how to knit. It's very wonky. It doesn't really follow any kind of structure. However, it fits me perfectly and it's really comfy. So it's been very hard to recreate the pattern in a more structured, concise way that can be followed by people, whilst also making it look the same way as it did when it was all wonky. This cardigan also now has really bobbled quite a lot. It's really stretched out. I can't even count the amount of times I've worn it, so it's completely fair that it is literally falling apart at this point. So my plan is to actually frog that cardigan, reuse the yarn. Some people on Instagram said the best way to do it is probably to hold that yarn with another thinner yarn together to just strengthen it, and that's actually such a genius idea. So I think I'm going to do that. And then I also have loads of other colours that I want to make it in. I'd love to make a red one for like a statement cardigan. I started a brown one last year, which was going to be a gift for my sister, but I had to let her know that she won't be getting it because the sizing was completely off. It was too short and I just wasn't happy with it. And at the time I just put it on hold. I think it was coming into springtime, or maybe we just started the renovation on the house. I can't remember. Something happened that made me stop working on it. So a year later it is back on my list to hopefully redo, and I think I would like to start with that sort of at the start of October. I'm going away for like 10 days at the start of October, which is very exciting, and I think that would be the perfect project to take away with me, because whilst I'll have to write the pattern, there will be a lot of like pattern repeats like for the main body of the cardigan and for the arms. So it's a perfect mix of like a bit of work and also a bit of enjoyment while I'm away. Then in July I made this granny square bag for my mum's birthday, and I've pretty much written the pattern for it. I've got all the instructions. I just need to create another sample to write down some of the gaps that I've got in my pattern, and then I could pretty much have it tech edited already. This pattern is completely irrelevant of seasons, so it's not necessarily on like the top of my priority list. You know, if I don't make this bag pattern and release it this autumn/winter time, that's absolutely fine because I can release it at any point in time. However, at the same time, if I get to finish my cardigan pattern and I have some time with my hands, I think this would be a nice project to work on that is very easygoing, very enjoyable. I love me a granny square project, so it would feel kind of very low stakes, which I like. So this is kind of the only thing that I have planned for October, November, mainly because I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself because I already have the cardigan that I'm working on, and also I will be releasing the knit scooty pattern, which I haven't included in this list by the way, because I have pretty much finished the pattern. It's being tech edited as we speak. It's hopefully going to be tested soon. I might knit another one myself just because I like to knit along my testers as well, but that is pretty much it. I won't be like working on it that much. So yeah, I feel like after all that pattern writing fiasco, I would quite enjoy working on like a very easygoing granny square bag pattern. Now, I'm now realizing I probably should talk about my knit scooty a little bit more, considering that I need to market the pattern, but I think I've been going on about it so much over the last few weeks that now that it has been done, it's finished, I've kind of like just not really wanted to think about it too much. But really, if you want to wear like a bonnet, a scooty, anything that's like a warm piece of headwear in the winter, I would start that now, and that's why I'm going to be working on my bonnets and stuff in the autumn. Even though you might not get that much wear out of it this season, I remember last year I was so thankful for my scooty when it got really cold in like December time, because I didn't have to like quickly whip something up. I literally had like the perfect thing already at home. So that's what I'm quite excited for winter. So talking of prepping for winter, another more fun project that I would really like to do for myself is a cowl type thing. Is make it blue cowl, which is just such a genius idea. I love the blue anyways, but I also love the thick ribbing of it, and this just seems for autumn rather than winter like such a good idea, because as much as I love autumn, the temperature really varies and it's very confusing. So a lot of the time I'll head out and I'll want to wear my big coat, but I'm only really wearing like a t-shirt underneath. Then my neck gets cold, so then a cowl would be perfect to just throw on top so my neck is warm, but then my arms aren't too warm and I'm not like drenched in sweat because I'm wearing wearing a massive jumper. Like all I need to wear is the cowl. I can still wear my t-shirt. I'm mostly interested in this on a very practical level. Like I actually think I'd get a ton of wear out of that. And then in the winter, I would start wearing my jumpers, and that's when I then need my scooties and my bonnets and all my big hoods and everything, because I actually need to keep my ears and my neck warm. Whereas in the autumn, I don't really feel like I need that. I would just wear like maybe a beanie, but probably just like a normal baseball cap. And then just in general, I thought I'd quickly chat about like colors and textures. The texture side of this will probably blend into winter a little bit more, because all of the projects that I'm working on this autumn aren't really that textured, I don't think, but a lot of this inspo naturally blends into winter as well. I'm looking at a lot of creams. I like a sort of touch of green. I don't have a lot of that yet in my wardrobe. That's kind of what I've been leaning towards recently. I also really want to dive more into my browns. I love wearing brown. I never really work with it that much because it always seems a bit boring, but there's always kind of ways to add a bit more fun color texture into the brown as well. In terms of textures, I love a cable knit. I would love to work on a cable knit project, but I probably think that will be this winter time. I don't see myself having time for like a jumper besides the cardigan that I'll be working on. It's good to kind of let these ideas sit a little bit so that by the time winter comes, I'll feel more confident about the projects that I want to work on, and not kind of work on like last minute quick fads that I have, because that's what I used to do in the past. And I think I've gotten very, very good at knowing my style, knowing my taste, knowing the things that I will wear. And I can still get inspired by things that I've recently seen, trends that have been going around, but I don't act on those as quickly as I used to. I like to let them settle and sit for a little bit. If in a year's time I still like this winter project that I'm obsessed with right now, then I'll make it then. That pretty much sums up everything that I have planned for this autumn. I feel like it's not as exciting as maybe some of my previous autumn videos, mainly because I don't really base it on trends that much anymore, and it is very personal to me. Maybe you'll make some of the patterns that I shared in this video as well. If you do, let me know. Maybe drop a comment below and mention like one project you're really excited to make this autumn. I always love getting some inspo from you guys. Thank you as always so much for watching. Make use of the link below to sign up for your free Milanote account, and hopefully I will see you next time. Goodbye.